48 BC Caesar's civil war, Battle of Pharsalus. Julius Caesar decisively defeats Pompey at Pharsalus and Pompey flees to Egypt. 378 Gothic War, Battle of Adrianople. A large Roman army led by Emperor Valens is defeated by the Visigoths. Valens is killed along with over half of his army. 1173 Construction of the Campanile of the Cathedral of Pisa, now known as the Leaning Tower of Pisa, begins. It will take 2 centuries to complete. 1329 Quilon, the first Indian Christian diocese, is erected by Pope John XXII. The French-born Jordanus is appointed the first bishop. 1428 Sources cite biggest caravan trade between Podvysokie and Republic of Ragusa. Vloks committed to Ragusan Lord Tomo Bunnik, that they will with 600 horses deliver 1,500 modius of salt. Delivery was meant for Dobrosin Vesokovich, and Vlok's price was half of delivered salt. 1500 Ottoman-Venetian War, 1499–1503. The Ottomans capture Methone, Messenia. 1610 The First Anglo-Powhatan War begins in colonial Virginia. 1810 Napoleon annesses Westphalia as part of the First French Empire. 1814 American Indian Wars. The Creek signed the Treaty of Fort Jackson, giving up huge parts of Alabama and Georgia. 1830 Louis Philippe becomes the King of the French following abdication of Charles X. 1842 The Webster-Ashburton Treaty is signed, establishing the United States-Canada border east of the Rocky Mountains. 1854 American transcendentalist philosopher Henry David Thoreau publishes his memoir Walden. 1855 Alland War, the Battle of Suomenlinna begins. 1862 American Civil War, Battle of Cedar Mountain. At Cedar Mountain, Virginia, Confederate General Stonewall Jackson narrowly defeats Union forces under General John Pope. 1877 American Indian Wars, Battle of the Big Hole. A small band of Nez Perce Indians clash with the United States Army. 1892 Thomas Edison receives a patent for a two-way telegraph. 1897 The First International Congress of Mathematicians is held in Zurich, Switzerland. 1902 Edward VII and Alexandra of Denmark are crowned King and Queen of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland. 1907 The first Boy Scout encampment concludes at Brownsea Island in southern England. 1925 A train robbery takes place in Kakori, near Lucknow, India, by the Indian Independence Revolutionaries, against British government. 1936 Summer Olympics. Jesse Owens wins his 4th gold medal at the Games. 1942 World War II, Battle of Savo Island. Allied naval forces protecting their amphibious forces during the initial stages of the Battle of Guadalcanal are surprised and defeated by an Imperial Japanese Navy cruiser force. 1944 The United States Forest Service and the Wartime Advertising Council release posters featuring Smokey Bear for the first time. 1944 World War II, Continuation War. The Vyborg-Petrozavodsk Offensive, the largest offensive launched by Soviet Union against Finland during the Second World War, ends to a strategic stalemate. Both Finnish and Soviet troops at the Finnish front dug to defensive positions, and the front remained stable until the end of the war. 1945 World War II. Nagasaki is devastated when an atomic bomb, Fat Man, is dropped by the United States B-29 boxcar. 35,000 people are killed outright, including 23,200 to 28,200 Japanese war workers, 2,000 Korean forced workers, and 150 Japanese soldiers. 1945 The Red Army invades Japanese-occupied Manchuria. 1960 South Kasai secedes from the Congo. 1965 Singapore is expelled from Malaysia and becomes the only country to date to gain independence unwillingly. 1969 Tate LaBianca murders. Followers of Charles Manson murder pregnant actress Sharon Tate, wife of Roman Polanski, coffee heiress Abigail Folger, Polish actor Wojciech Frykowski, men's hairstylist Jay Sebring and recent high school graduate Stephen Parent. 1970 Lanza Flight 502 crashes after takeoff from Alejandro Velasco Astade International Airport in Cusco, Peru, killing 99 of the 100 people on board, as well as 2 people on the ground. 1971 The Troubles. In Northern Ireland, the British authorities launch Operation Demetrius. The operation involves the mass arrest and internment without trial of individuals suspected of being affiliated with the Irish Republican Army, PIRA. Mass riots follow, and thousands of people flee or are forced out of their homes. 1973 Mars 7 is launched from the USSR. 1974 As a direct result of the Watergate scandal, Richard Nixon becomes the first president of the United States to resign from office. Vice President Gerald Ford becomes president. 1991 The Italian prosecuting magistrate Antonino Scopoliti is murdered by the 'Ndrangheta on behalf of the Sicilian Mafia while preparing the government's case in the final appeal of the Maxi trial. 1993 The Liberal Democratic Party of Japan loses a 38-year hold on national leadership. 1995 Aviateca Flight 901 crashes into the San Vicente volcano in El Salvador, killing all 65 people on board. 1999 Russian President Boris Yeltsin fires his Prime Minister, Sergei Stepashin, and for the fourth time fires his entire cabinet. 2006 At least 21 suspected terrorists are arrested in the 2006 transatlantic aircraft plot that happened in the United Kingdom. The arrests are made in London, Birmingham, and High Wycombe in an overnight operation. 2007 Air Moria Flight 1121 crashes after takeoff from Moria Airport in French Polynesia, killing all 20 people on board. 2012 Shannon Easton becomes the first woman to officiate an NFL game. 2013 Gunmen open fire at a Sunni mosque in the city of Quetta, killing at least 10 people and injuring 30. 2014 Michael Brown, an 18-year-old African-American male in Ferguson, Missouri, is shot and killed by a Ferguson police officer after reportedly assaulting the officer and attempting to steal his weapon, sparking protests and unrest in the city.